Today we have 100 plus random facts that will blow your mind. The factorial of 10 is 3,628,800, which means there are 3,628,800 different ways to arrange 10 cards. The factorial of 52, the number of cards in a deck, is a number greater than the number of atoms on Earth. Vincent van Gogh only sold one painting during his lifetime. It was The Red Vineyard. 75% of the world's diet is produced from just 12 plants and 5 different animal species. A baseball has exactly 108 double stitches on a baseball or 216 individual stitches. Dunking an Oreo in milk for 3 seconds, according to a study, provides the optimal balance of sogginess and structural integrity. Sea otters boast the densest fur among mammals, with a remarkable 1 million hairs per square inch or 6.4 square centimeters. In the world of movies, Alfred Hitchcock never won an Oscar despite his legendary contribution to cinema. Giraffes boast the highest blood pressure among mammals, attributed to the fact that their heads are, on average, 2 meters above their hearts, requiring the heart to combat gravity to ensure adequate blood flow and oxygen to the brain. Phantom vibration syndrome is the term used when someone perceives their phone is vibrating when it isn't. Research suggests this phenomenon is linked to over-involvement with one's phone. Honestly, this happens to me too. The longest recorded time without sleep is 11 days. This rare feat, known as sleep deprivation, was documented in a case study where the person experienced hallucinations and cognitive impairment. Metallica set the world record for performing on all 7 continents in a single year. Shopping malls, like casinos, are intentionally designed to disorient visitors, leading to the phenomenon called the Gruen transfer. Contrary to common belief, eggplant is not a vegetable. It is in fact a fruit, and more precisely, a berry. There are occasions when Pluto is closer to the Sun than Neptune. One of these instances occurred from 1979 to 1999. The Eiffel Tower is one of Europe's most iconic landmarks, constructed in 1889, and held the title of the world's tallest building until 1930. To reach the top of its 1,063 feet, one must climb 1,710 steps, though guests are only permitted to climb the stairs until the first platform before taking an elevator to the top. Despite the significant invention of the radio, it took 38 years for it to reach an audience of 50 million. In contrast, the iPod achieved the same milestone in just 3 years. CAPTCHA, a lengthy acronym, stands for Completely Automatic Public Turning Test to tell computers and humans apart. While some artificial intelligence can bypass CAPTCHA, it remains useful in blocking certain bots. Stars twinkle due to the disruption of light as it passes through Earth's atmosphere. Atmospheric winds and varying temperatures impact starlight, causing the twinkling effect as observed from Earth. The distance between the Sun and Earth is defined as an astronomical unit. An astronomical unit, AU, is roughly equivalent to 93 million miles or 150 million kilometers. Ladybugs exhibit brutal cannibalistic behavior. Surprisingly, many people are unaware that when hungry, these seemingly harmless insects won't hesitate to munch on their own kind, challenging their cute and innocent image. Our Sun resides in the Orion arm of the Milky Way galaxy. The system for categorizing galaxies scientifically was developed by American astronomer Edwin Hubble. The point on Earth closest to space is not Mount Everest. Instead, it's Mount Chimborazo. Despite Mount Everest being taller than sea level, Mount Chimborazo sits higher on Earth's bulge. Recycling paper requires 70% less energy than manufacturing it from raw materials. The earthquake's initial point of rupture is known as the focus, or hypocenter, while the point at ground level directly above the hypocenter is termed the epicenter. In the act of breathing, humans only replace 15% of the air in their lungs with fresh air. In contrast, dolphins replace a striking 90% of the air in their lungs with each breath. In the United States, Alaska is larger than the next 3 biggest states combined: Texas, California, and Montana. The specific order of the cards in a deck has never occurred before in history and will probably never happen again. The probability of 2 people in a group of 23 people having the same birthday is 50%. Certain mammals, such as the red kangaroo or roe deer, can perform embryonic diapause, the ability to pause embryo development in unfavorable environmental conditions, effectively saving the embryo and the mother's life in bad conditions. Platypuses and echidna do not have stomachs. That's right, platypuses and echidnas are oddballs even among mammals. Unlike us, they don't have stomachs. Their food skips a pit stop and goes straight from their esophagus to their intestines. Beneath the North Pole, there is no solid land, only sea ice. The Beatles use the word love 613 times in their songs. Charles Dickens used to sleep facing north to improve his creativity. Have you ever wondered why the sky is blue? It's due to a phenomenon called Rayleigh scattering. These tiny air molecules cause the scattering to increase as the wavelength of light decreases. Violet and blue light have the shortest wavelengths and red light has the longest. Therefore, blue light is scattered more than red light and the sky appears blue during the day. When a rule seems too strict, we tend to break more. In the psychological phenomenon called reactance, people tend to break more rules when they feel like certain freedoms are being restricted to regain the freedom they think is being taken away. 2 million people, almost one-third of the Russian population, died of starvation from 1601 to 1603 due to a volcanic eruption. The volcanic ash blocked the sun, ruining the crops. The volcano was located in Peru. Salvador Dali himself created the Chupa Chups logo in 1969. He also insisted that it should be placed on top of the wrapper so that everyone could see it. 90% of the global population resides in the northern hemisphere. The Nile is the longest river globally, stretching over 6,650 kilometers or 4,130 miles. It has played a crucial role in the development of ancient civilizations by providing fertile soil for agriculture. The Earth's core is mainly made up of iron and nickel. The intense heat and pressure maintain these materials in a molten state, contributing to the planet's magnetic field. Dmitry Mendeleev developed the periodic table in 1869, arranging elements based on their characteristics. This arrangement laid the groundwork for understanding the fundamental building blocks of matter. The Higgs boson, found in 2012 at CERN's Large Hadron Collider, is a basic particle that helps explain the origin of mass in the universe. About 2.4 billion years ago, cyanobacteria produced oxygen through photosynthesis, resulting in the Great Oxygenation Event. This event paved the way for oxygen-dependent life forms. Discovered in the Canadian Rockies, Burgess Shale fossils are around 508 million years old, offering a rare glimpse into the diverse marine life during the Cambrian explosion. Yellowstone National Park is home to more than half of the world's geysers. Old Faithful is one of the most famous, erupting regularly due to the geothermal activity beneath the park. Despite our perception of human superiority, our genome contains as many as 145 genes that have jumped from bacteria, fungi, other single-celled organisms, and viruses. Bats make up 20% of all mammal species on Earth. The heliopause, the space region where solar wind lacks sufficient heat to counter the incoming particle wind from distant stars, is often referred to as the boundary wall between the solar system and interstellar space. Most ginger cats are male, with approximately 3 ginger males for every ginger female. This is because the ginger gene is located on the X chromosome, requiring female cats to possess 2 copies of the gene to be ginger, while males only need 1. Dogs tilt their heads when you speak to them to better focus on familiar words. When you speak to your dog and it tilts its head, it's aiming to pinpoint the source of sounds more quickly. This behavior helps them listen more precisely for familiar words and enhances their understanding of the tone of your voice. The Australian funnel web spider's venom is extremely toxic to primates, but mostly harmless to many other animals. There are no wild primates in Australia, apart from humans. Contrary to their name, guinea pigs are rodents originating from the Andes, not pigs and not from Guinea. Venus rotates so slowly you can keep the sunset in the same place and watch sunset forever just by walking. You might be surprised, but mountain goats aren't actually goats. They belong to a different group of animals even though their name suggests otherwise. True goats, like the ones you might see on a farm, are in a genus called Capra. Mountain goats, on the other hand, have their own genus, Oriamnos. This means they're more closely related to other hoofed animals like antelope than they are to true goats. The first thing we develop in the womb is an anus. For the first few seconds of life, we are floating anuses. Okay, this is an oversimplification, let me explain. In deuterostomes, the blastopore first forms and later develops into the anus. Subsequently, the mouth forms at a different location on the embryo. This developmental pattern sets deuterostomes apart from protostomes, where the blastopore becomes the mouth. Earthworms have even been ranked the #1 most influential species in the history of the planet above dinosaurs and humans, because they improve soil structure, enhance nutrient cycling, and support various animal populations. The snake sticks out its tongue to gather chemical info from the environment around it, and then carries it back to two receptors on the roof of its mouth, called the Jacobson's organ. Arthropods are the reigning champs of the animal kingdom in terms of sheer numbers, with over 5 million identified species, and there's many more insect species waiting to be discovered. These little crawlies have been around for a mind-blowing long time. Fossil evidence suggests arthropods were already thriving over 500 million years ago. Some arthropods, like spiders and crabs, can detach a limb if threatened. This self-sacrifice, called autotomy, allows them to escape a predator's grasp and regenerate the lost limb later. NASA's Phoenix Mars lander has detected snow falling from Martian clouds. The snow vaporized before reaching the Martian surface. The home remedy of ginger for nausea actually has some science behind it. It turns out ginger contains a substance called gingerol, which is converted into a substance that blocks nausea signals in the stomach. It works in a similar way prescription anti-nausea drugs do. It only took 1 year and 45 days to build the Empire State Building. That's impressive. Research suggests trees may communicate with each other through volatile organic compounds, VOCs, released by their leaves. These VOCs might warn of insect infestations or water stress, promoting a cooperative response within the forest. The term rhinoceros originates from two Greek words, rhino meaning nose and ceros meaning horn. Rhinos have the capability to reach speeds of up to 31 miles per hour or 50 kilometers per hour. The white rhinoceros ranks as the second largest terrestrial animal globally, following the elephant. They can attain weights exceeding 7,700 pounds, 3,500 kilograms, and lengths of up to 13 feet, 4 meters. On average, rhinos have a lifespan of 35 to 40 years. The Richter scale gauges earthquake magnitude. Each whole number increase signifies a 10-fold rise in amplitude and about 31.6 times more energy release. The biggest tree on Earth is called General Sherman, and it's a really huge sequoia. It's more than 2,000 years old and is as tall as the Statue of Liberty or Big Ben. It's also 18 times heavier than a blue whale. The temperature inside a beehive is like the temperature of a healthy human body. When it gets hotter, bees move around in the hive and flap their wings to cool it down. Bubble wrap was supposed to be bumpy wallpaper. It was made by sticking two shower curtains together. The first photo ever was taken in 1826, and it took 8 hours to make. The little hole at the bottom of your padlock lets water out if it's in the rain. Even though we think of croissants as French, they actually came from Vienna, Austria, and only came to France in the 1830s. The biggest pyramid in the world is not in Egypt but in Puebla, Mexico. Most people check their phone every 6 minutes, about 150 times a day. A glass of water has more tiny things in it than all the glasses of water in the oceans. An ear of corn always has an even number of rows, usually 16 with about 800 little pieces on it. You can really smell rain. It's like a mix of plant oils, bacteria, and ozone. Water gets bigger by 9% when it becomes ice. Ice is lighter than water, so it floats. The barcode was made in America in 1951 by two guys named Norman Joseph Woodland and Bernard Silver. Did you know that 25% of an adult's bones are in their feet? Your stomach gets a new layer every 3 to 4 days to stop it from digesting itself. Your brain has more than 86 billion nerve cells and 100 trillion connections, way more than the stars in our galaxy. When your brain talks to your body, the signals go really fast, up to 270 miles per hour. That's much faster than a sports car. People spend more than 4 years of their lives eating. The muscles that make your eyes blink are the fastest in your body. You blink more than 15,000 times in a day. If you don't have trouble sleeping, you'll spend about one-third of your life asleep. Your skeleton changes completely every 10 years. Your skin wrinkles if you stay in the water for a long time, but not because it soaks up water. It's more like the tread on your car tires getting better grip. Your brain uses more than 20% of your body's energy, even when you're not doing anything. It's almost the same when you're asleep, and it burns about 330 calories per day at that time. Iceland grows by 2 inches every year because it's between two big pieces of the earth that are moving apart. Humans are the only animals with chins. Other animals may walk on two legs or have a jaw like us, but they don't have that little bone in the middle of the lower jaw. Have you noticed that you're less hungry when it's hot outside? That's because our body is already working hard to keep us cool, so it doesn't need extra heat from digesting a big lunch. Certain penguins express their intentions to potential mates by offering them what they believe is a flawless pebble. Relative to their body size, Chihuahuas possess the largest brain among dogs. A condition known as situs inversus affects one person in every 10,000. This condition involves the reversal or mirroring of an internal organ from its usual position. In most instances, it's a complete reversal from right to left of all abdominal organs. When you acquire new knowledge, your brain alters its structure, forming fresh connections between neurons. This process enhances your ability to link information more rapidly. Squirrels contribute to tree planting unintentionally. They do this when they forget the locations where they've hidden their acorns and nuts, resulting in the unintentional planting of millions of trees each year. Despite their tiny size, hummingbirds play a crucial role in maintaining the ecological balance, particularly as pollinators, aiding in the growth of flora worldwide. Octopuses are widely recognized for their remarkable problem-solving skills, showing an unprecedented level of cognitive complexity among invertebrates. Elephants, by dispersing seeds through their dung, help in propagating plant life, truly acting as nature's indispensable gardeners. The human pupil can expand up to 50 times its original size in low-light conditions. This is due to the pupil's ability to dilate or contract to regulate the amount of light entering the eye. Pedro Lascurain, Mexico's 34th head of state, holds the distinction of having the shortest presidency globally, serving a mere 45 minutes before resigning. In a single presentation in 1968, various foundational components of modern computing were introduced, including Windows, hypertext, graphics, video conferencing, the computer mouse, and word processors hailed as the mother of all demos. Humans constitute just a fraction 1% of Earth's overall biomass, yet have caused destruction to 83% of all wild mammals. Every year, monarch butterflies embark on a migration spanning thousands of miles to reach warmer climates. Starting from southern Canada and the United States, they journey to wintering grounds in central Mexico. Although no individual butterfly completes the entire trip, the migration is accomplished over 4 to 5 generations. Despite ingesting more than 10,000 calories daily, sumo wrestlers maintain minimal visceral fat owing to their intense training regimen. Grizzly bears demonstrate a phenomenon known as delayed implantation, where the embryo initiates gestation only after the mother bear has accumulated sufficient weight to endure hibernation without risking starvation. Bull sharks possess euryhaline characteristics, enabling them to thrive in both saltwater and freshwater environments. They are noted for their ability to navigate rivers and cover extensive distances. Woodlice lack a urinary system. Instead, they expel nitrogenous waste by emitting ammonia gas through small openings in their shells, resulting in a distinctive odor. At the North Pole, local time is irrelevant since all lines of longitude, and consequently all time zones, converge at this geographical point. But there is a long-established convention that GMT is used. President Theodore Roosevelt received both the Nobel Peace Prize and the Medal of Honor, two awards seemingly at odds with each other in nature. The sedentary lifestyle of barnacles presents challenges for sexual reproduction as they are unable to venture out of their shells to mate. As an adaptation, they developed the largest penis-to-body size ratio in the animal kingdom, reaching up to 8 times their body length. Your heart rate decelerates upon contact of your face with water, a phenomenon termed the mammalian diving reflex. Walking through a pine forest can invigorate your lungs due to alpha-pinene, a chemical compound abundant in conifers. It serves as a bronchodilator in asthma treatment and possesses anti-inflammatory properties. Mary, Queen of Scots, ascended to the throne at the tender age of 6 days. Queen Victoria made history as the inaugural British monarch to be captured in a photograph. Russia's landmass exceeds that of the entirety of Pluto. The notion that lactic acid induces muscle soreness post-workout was discredited in the 1980s. Current research suggests that soreness results from physiological responses triggered by microscopic damage incurred during vigorous exercise. Elephants communicate using sounds that are below the frequency humans can hear, known as infrasound. These low-frequency vibrations travel through the ground, which elephants can pick up through their feet, allowing them to communicate over long distances. The Arctic tern has the longest migration of any animal in the world. It travels about 71,000 kilometers, 44,000 miles, every year from its Arctic breeding grounds to the Antarctic and back, experiencing 2 summers annually and more daylight than any other creature on the planet. Hydra are small freshwater invertebrates that possess stem cells that perpetually renewing themselves. Isolated specimens show no signs of aging, offering potential insights into anti-aging studies. Hippos possess a distinctive reflex allowing them to surface, breathe, and submerge without awakening, facilitating underwater sleep. Honeycombs initially form as circles, with beeswax's surface tension pulling them into hexagonal shapes upon solidification due to their energetically favorable configuration. The audible rumbling produced by your stomach when hungry is termed borborygmus. This occurs as digestive system muscles propel food, liquid, and gas through the stomach and small intestine, generating a rumbling noise. Alexithymia, also known as emotional blindness, characterizes individuals struggling to discern, express, and articulate their own emotions. It correlates with attachment theory challenges and interpersonal difficulties, and is prevalent among individuals with autism spectrum disorder. Aphantasia is the lack of ability to visualize images or hear sounds in your mind. Individuals with alien hand syndrome experience one of their hands acting independently without their control over its actions. This condition often arises after brain surgery, stroke, or infections that affect the brain, leading to feelings of estrangement from the affected limb. Capgras syndrome is a rare disorder that causes individuals to believe that someone they know or recognize has been replaced by an imposter. It is often associated with schizophrenia, dementia, epilepsy, and brain injuries. Individuals with prosopagnosia are unable to recognize faces, including those of close friends or even their reflection. This condition can be congenital or acquired after brain injury. Following damage to the temporal lobes, individuals may exhibit a range of unusual behaviors, including hyperorality, the desire to explore objects by mouth, hypersexuality, and a lack of fear. It's called the Kluver-Bucy syndrome. Do you want more facts? Watch this one. Let's keep exploring, never cease learning, and always appreciate the wonders of our world. Until next time.